In this video we're going to learn how to do integer multiplication. We're going to use the lattice method. It's actually the same as long multiplication but set out differently, and it's not to be confused with grid multiplication, which does things in a slightly different way, and actually although it shows the understanding of what's going on, is not a very efficient method. Now we're only going to do one example because you do the same thing over and over again with lattice multiplication. So if you understand this example and you can follow what I do, you'll always be able to multiply integers together. So the first thing we're going to notice is that we've got a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a grid which is 3 by 2, and that's where the 3-digit number there and the 2-digit number there, and each box we're going to separate with these diagonals. The only important thing here is that you make sure you give yourself enough space that you can fit your working in. And whenever we work out a calculation, we'll put the 10 parts on this part of the box and the unit parts on this part of the box. So across here we put our 3-digit number, and down here we put our 2-digit number. Now we can work out these boxes in any order, but I'm going to work along here, then along here. So the first I'm going to do is 3 multiplied by 4, which is 12. So we've got a 10 part of 1 and a unit part of 2. So then I'm going to do 3 times 6. So this is only single digit multiplication we're having to do here. So 3 multiplied by 6 is 18. So that's got a 10 part of 1 and a units part of 8. Then we've got a 3 times 2 is 6. Now there's a 10 parts of 0, there are no 10 parts, so I could put a 0 there or I can leave it blank, and I'm going to leave it blank, and a unit part of 6. Now I'm going to work on the next row. 8 multiplied by 4 is 32, so that's a 10 part of 3 and a unit part of 2. 8 multiplied by 6, well that's a 10 part of 4 and a unit part of 8. And then we've got 8 multiplied by 2. So that's a 10 part of 1 and a unit part of 6. Okay, so now we've done that, we need to work out our values, and this is where these lines come into play again, because to get our first value we do everything to the right of this dotted line, and there's only a 2, so we put down a 2, and then we do the one between this one and the next one. So we've got 2 plus 3 plus 8, that's 13. So we put the unit part down, and the 1 that we carried, or the tens part, goes in the next column. So there's our 3 for the 13, and we'll just put our 1 over here. That does not make that 16, it's just an extra 1. So now we do our next diagonal here, all these things between these two dotted lines. So we've got 1 plus the 8 is 9, then we've got 13, 19, 20. So we've got a units part of 0, and then we've got 2 tens, so that's just going to go in the next diagonal section over. So now we add up the next diagonal. So we've got 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 6 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So we've got another 0, and then we carry 1 to the next diagonal. Now I've put it in here where the 0 was. If there had been a 0, I'd have put it here. So now we do our final diagonal section, and that's a 1. So there's our answer, 10,032. I hope you found the video helpful. The video goes with a book that I'm writing for Year 9 Mathematics in New Zealand, and you can find a link to a copy of the book below, and that book is free for you to use and give to others. In the book you can find questions that go with this video, and in a link below this video you'll be able to find answers to those questions. Stay in Infield with Winfield.